Hey, so in this video, we're going to set up a orchestration to turn the outdoor front door lights on at sunset and then turn them on during the night when there's motion detected. So the ingredients that we're going to need here are obviously a motion detector. We're going to need a intelligent light that we can control somehow, some smart light, smart switch. And we're also going to need a HomeKit hub. So this could be an Apple TV, or it could also be just an iPad as long as it's connected in the house and there. So for run automations, especially when you're away from home, you need to make sure that you've got something that is connected to your home network that's going to be able to run these automations. So in my case, I am using a Ring doorbell, which I've got the motion detector exposed through Homebridge, which we'll do a video on later, as well as a Lutron Cassetta. That's the light switch. So I've got multiple lights, which I'll show you pictures of those and what I'm connecting here. And for the HomeKit hub, I'm using an Apple TV Gen 4. So let's take a look at the outside of what I'm trying to accomplish to let you guys visualize this a little bit easier. So to give you an idea of what I'm trying to do here, I've got a small cloakroom right in the front door, mudroom, and I've got just regular lights sitting there. These are connected to the Lutron. I've also got a light just above my front door, and I've got a traditional kind of a lamp pole that's slightly down my front lawn. These are all connected on the same circuit and all controlled by the Lutron Cassetta light switch. So you could accomplish this using another light switch as well, another motion detector, but just giving you an idea of how I'm accomplishing this. So now we're going to take a quick look at what the automation looks like and what we're trying to accomplish. So when thinking in terms of the automations, it's always about events and actions. So the event that we're triggering on is sunset. So I want my lights to turn on sunset. So I'm going to set up an automation that when sunset occurs, I am then going to turn on the light switch, right? So this is pretty simple. So let's take a look at what that looks like in the iPad now. So I'm stretching out the iPad screen here. Please send me some comments back if you like this, if it's easier to see, or if you like the traditional setup. I'd love to hear your feedback on that. So what we're going to do is we're looking at the front door. You can see here we've got the front door inside and the front door outside. So I am concerned with turning the front door outside on. So step one here is we're going to create a scene. Yes, you can control accessories directly, but in my experience, you really want to create scenes. It makes it a lot easier to figure out why weird things are happening in your smart house at a later date when you forget what it was that you did. Right? The automations are one thing, but using the scenes is just, it's going to save you a lot of headaches. Trust me on this one. So we're going to create the new scene, plus button, and name it something meaningful. So we're going to say front outside lights on. And then we're going to add accessories. And again, remember, the only accessory that I'm concerned with here is the front outside light. I don't care about anything else. So yes, it may seem easier to control one accessory directly, but like I said, troubleshooting this later, it's going to be a pain. We're also going to say include in favorites, so that way I can visually see on my home screen here whether that turns on or off and gets triggered. We're now going to go over to automations. We're going to click on that automation. We're going to say, okay, I want a time of day occurs, and I want sunset. And so this is going to be changed throughout the year if sunset and sundown change for you. And if I click on that little eye, I get additional options, not just sunset, but I can say 15 minutes before sunset, for instance, which is what I want to do. I want to have the lights turn on before sunset. And I want to say, okay, I'm going to go down. I'm going to click on the front outside lights on. So I'm going to select that scene that I had just created. And now I also have this new additional option in iOS 11, which is when do I want to turn this off? Do I want to turn this off 1 minute after, 60 minutes after? So I have a little bit of leeway here. I would have liked to have seen this maybe a couple hours after, maybe at 3 hours, something like that, but 1 in 60 I'll deal with. And it's because I only have 60 minutes that I'm going to create my secondary automation, which is for the motion sensor to turn these lights on and do the same scene. So let's take a look at that. So looking at how this event's going to work again, this is just going to be like sunset, but the event is now going to be the motion sensor goes off. Once the motion sensor goes off, I want to take an action, and that action will be, which is what we defined in that scene, to turn the lights back on. Pretty simple. Let's take a look at the iPad on configuring that. So we're just going to go straight into the automations because we've already created that scene. And I'm going to say when a sensor detects something, that's going to be the motion sensor. So when that Ring motion sensor detects motion, I am then going to perform an action, right? And I could say detects motion or stops detecting motion. Obviously, I want to detect motion. And I'm going to create this other conditional here that says at night. And if I click on the I button, I could say sunset to sunrise. That's definition of night. Or I can make some other adjustments here. I'm fine with sunset to sunrise. So we're just going to click done and exit out of this. And then I'm going to click next. And I am going to pick that exact same scene that I just created. So again, don't repeat yourself, dry principle. We're going to go here and we're going to say turn it off. And I want to turn it off after 30 minutes maybe, right? So I have some options here. 15 minutes. I think I'll choose 15 because I'm doing this to save some energy. So at this point, what's going to happen is the motion sensor will sense motion. The light will turn on for 15 minutes and then it'll turn off until the next time the motion is sensed. And this will happen all night long until sunrise comes up, in which case I don't need the lights anymore. And that is setting up a more advanced orchestration using Apple HomeKit for your front lights. Comments, questions, let me know.